So it's very difficult for you to see yourself as someone that you've never been. A man only hears what they understand. And my goal with this video is to bring you to a mindset shift that will bring you closer to creating your desired reality. Most people think that change only happens by taking action. So they focus on the physical. But like I said in my last video, real change only happens in the realm of course. Real change can only happen when you're able to alter consciousness, to alter awareness, to alter your thought. Real change happens in the mind. You have to be able to be in the present moment, because real change happens in the present moment. But when your life is always tired because of bills and everything that comes with life, and mind you, it's by design, you will never truly be able to explore or grow in the present moment. And now you find yourself in a place where your present moment comes at night when it's time to sleep. Like I said earlier, it's by design. And because you are tired, you're not thinking about anything. The only thing that you're thinking is to get your rest, because you spend the whole day occupying yourself. Let's break the word down. To occupy means to seize, to take possession of. So to occupy something is not passive. When you say, oh, this is my occupation, it's not a coincidence that they use that word, occupation, to describe what it is that you do with your life. It's one of those words that have a deeper meaning, a spell behind it, because you have to look at the meaning. And I need you to understand this. I wish I could write something here. You do not occupy your job occupies you. So when you take a proper look at it, you will realize that your occupation is something that sees. It's something that takes possession of, and fill your mind with something to focus your awareness on something other than your purpose. So when you look at it from a place of mindfulness, you will find out that the word occupy, your occupation, is something that binds or possesses you rather than empower you. And the reason I'm saying this is because words are powerful. Words are containers for power, and you choose what kind of power they contain. You see, the words that you speak have the ability to create your reality. As a matter of fact, the words that you speak create your reality. And personally, I believe that the words spoken to you or against you by adults, especially by parents, see, they can affect your future. I just want you to be mindful about the things that you hear, the kind of word you speak over yourself, and the kind of word you allow people to speak over you. Never say something to yourself that you wouldn't want for yourself. Not even as a joke, because your mind does not know the difference. But like I was saying, most people think that change only happens by taking actions, and so they focus on the physical and they ignore the mind. You see, one thing that trips me up about people who are self-aware, people who have a certain level of consciousness, is after they identify an aspect of their life that needs to change, they continue to identify with that aspect. Like, you know that you're somebody who procrastinates, and you still choose to see yourself as somebody who procrastinates. You choose to see yourself as somebody who procrastinates when you say about yourself, or you think to yourself, oh, I know I procrastinate, and I'm just going to work on it. You see, you're focused on the realm of effect. You're trying to change, you're trying to control circumstances. You need to become it first before you actually become it. You need to become it mentally. If you're unable to alter your consciousness, if you're unable to alter your awareness, to alter thought, you'll never see your desired change. You'll never see your desired reality. And so sometimes you hear people talk about how, oh man, I made it. And you say, oh, how did you make it? I say, oh man, I was locked in. And so, I did what I had to do to change. When they say they locked in and they are focused on the actions, you realize that what really happened was they became so invested in seeing the change that they wanted to see, that the feelings, the joy, the peace, everything that come along with that person or the change that they wanted to see consumed them. They started speaking, they started walking, they started living, their lifestyle changed. They started seeing themselves like the change that they wanted to see. And so the change that they wanted to see began to take form. And so you realize that the change happened in the realm of cause. It happened for them, but they didn't realize that that was actually what was happening. They became it mentally, and the physical started aligning. So instead of you looking at yourself as, oh, I'm somebody who procrastinate, and so I have to do this, I have to work on not procrastinating. Why don't you just become the person? Become the person. What would your non-procrastinating self do? Like, you know you want to go to the gym. Why are you putting it away? Just go to the gym. Like, become that person. Most people think that their perfect self or the best version of themselves is the version that feels like, that doesn't feel like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today, or I don't want to do this work, I don't want to read this book, I don't want to show this content. They think the best version of themselves is the version that is ready to do everything. And that's not true. No, your best version is the version of you that is doing what needs to be done. It's not about doing what we like, but liking what we have to do. That's what makes life a blessing. That's a bar. Write that down. Your mind will forever create your reality. The change that you truly want to see can only happen from within, not from without. And so you realize that instead of you focusing on doing physical work, not discounting those, but you have to understand, you see, the physical work or the physical actions, like going to the gym and lifting a weight, you see, that comes when the thought is already altered. That comes when you've already done the work in your mind. Like when you see yourself as an athlete, like it becomes a lifestyle. When you see yourself as a version of the person that you want to become. And so when you see that lifting the weight, you're not lifting the weight as the first step. No, you see, like I said, you won't be consistent. You will fall off. Now, this is why most New Year resolutions never come to fruition. How many of your New Year resolution have you hit? And I bet you this, I'm willing to bet you, if you really examine any New Year resolution that you have hit in your life, you'll realize that what happened was you accidentally altered your consciousness, altered your thought, altered the way that you look at yourself. You became too invested that your resolution became all and everything that you thought about. You started seeing yourself as what you wrote down for yourself. And so so those changes began to take form. The physical started aligning. You have to be able to see yourself as the change that you're trying to see. It says whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Say, think about such things. It didn't say do such things. Goes back to what I was saying. Why? Because if it says do these things, you will focus on the realm of trying to control things. You will focus on the physical. You will focus on the realm of effect. You will focus, trying to control everything. It says think on these things. Whatever it is that you want to see in your life, think about these things. If we can use our mind, if we can think about these things that we want to see in our lives, that means we are living a life of mindfulness. And if we can think on these things and operate in the realm of cause, then we will just become. So real change is not about doing, it's about becoming. It happens in your mind. And I know I keep saying this over and over again because I need you to get it, okay? You want to be wealthy. How does that wealthy person, how does that version of yourself act? Some people say, oh, when I'm wealthy, I'll do this. Do it now. And I understand, some of us, we have different life and, people have to go to work, you have to pay bills and this. And sometimes we think, oh, I don't have that much of time. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't even be in the present because any little time I have, I'm doing something. Or even when I'm not doing something, that's the time I need to get some rest. You have to do what it is that you have to do to break free. The shift happens here first. Don't look and say, oh, I need to change my life. And then let me go pick on that job. No, you see, that's not it. You're focusing on let me tell you, I think it was like maybe around 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I remember I started working and I had one job. And before you know it, I picked up a second job. And I was working 2 jobs. And so I was working 2 jobs. And before you know it, I picked up the 3rd job. And that was because of my outlook on life, because I thought to myself, well, I wanted to make money. That's the truth. I wanted to be financially okay. And I think that's one thing that most of us sometimes we do as well, is that sometimes we try to be humble, right? We try to put up a facade of humility. Like some people want to be rich. Some people want money, but they will never acknowledge the fact that that's what they want or that's what's driving their actions. And you have to understand that whether you acknowledge it or not, it has no effect on reality. But you see, it will affect your own reality, because you're being inauthentic. Some people watch their parents struggle. Some people are struggling, but they will never come out and say, you know what, we want money, like I want to be rich. See, if you want to be rich and you act like it's not important to you, maybe because you're religious or for whatever reason, and you think to yourself, wanting riches is vanity, it's vain. And so you tell yourself, oh no, I don't want riches. But you know deep inside you actually want riches. And sometimes you don't want to acknowledge it because maybe you're afraid. You feel like you will acknowledge it and you will never get it. And so you're like, oh, I don't care. But you know deep down you care. But the only reason that you can operate like this is if you lack self-belief. It's because you look at yourself as somebody who can never do it, whose life can never truly change. And as long as you look at yourself like that, nothing will change. Because number one, you're not even being true. You're not being real with yourself. No, it's like the saying when people say, look, be mindful what you tell yourself, because your body does not know the difference, right? Or your mind does not know the difference. Your mind have no idea what's real or what's fake. And so what your mind believes will give birth to your reality. You can think something, right? And that's why when you hear a thought in your mind or intrusive thought, one of the best way to dismiss it is to say the opposite. Say what it is that you want outside, because like I said, words transcend thoughts and actions transcend words. And so even though they transcend each other, you see, eventually your thoughts will become your words and your words will give birth to your actions if you stay consistent. So you have to be particular about the things that you say. And so for people who think that acknowledging that they want to be rich is vain, there is a story in the Bible about this man called Jabez. Now this man was poor. This man was poor. His name meant sorrow, suffering. And one day it says the man went to God and he prayed. So the man prayed. He said, I want to be rich. Make me wealthy. Increase my portion and the things that I have. And what happened? It says God answered his prayer. Why didn't God tell him, no, you're being vain? That's not the important thing in life. Now, I'm not saying that's the important thing in life. So don't misunderstand me. But what I'm saying is, if you think that acknowledging that you want wealth, you want riches, it's vain. It's not because it's necessarily vain. It's because of the lack of understanding that you have about the purpose of wealth. It's because you think that wealth is something that you use for your own self-pleasure, just and feel your indulgences. And I'm not saying that word, right? Indulgences. Like you need an understanding to understand. Wealth is not so much as a reward, even though sometimes it might look like it. It's a responsibility. Not for you to just starve yourself and consume alone. And this ain't no communist thing or whatever, or socialist, whatever they call those stuff. I'm talking for those people who think that wanting wealth is vanity. If you look at wealth as vanity, it's because you think about yourself. You think that wealth or having wealth is just so you can relax, so you can just kick your feet up and just indulge and get whatever it is that your heart desire. That's where it becomes vanity. Think about the things that you want to see in your life. You say, oh brother, you're talking about meditation. I don't like meditating. Bro, everybody meditates. You meditate every single day. It's just chaotic meditation. But you're always thinking something about yourself. People have different beliefs. And some people believe that they see their parents struggle. They themselves, they struggle, and they believe that they should be rich. They believe that they should see certain desired reality for their loved ones and even for themselves, but they don't really know it. But if belief is all you have, that's not enough. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with belief, but I need you to understand that most people hold their belief like a conviction, like it's a fact. But belief is just uncertainty. See, you can't believe what you know. So until you're able to graduate from believing to knowing it for yourself, So your brain is like a computer, and I need you to rewire it. I can ask you, do you believe that aeroplanes can fly? And you can say yes. Well, it's not that you believe that aeroplane can fly. We just use these words wrongly, and you can look it up on your own. We just use that. That's not what it means. You know that aeroplane can fly. Why? Because you have seen it. Do you believe that I can do backflip? You say, yeah, I believe it. You're just saying, there is a possibility. You see, so you have to be able to see the possibility in things, right, before you now come to knowing. And so you can believe something about yourself. There's nothing wrong with you believing something about yourself. We all go through that process, especially when you're starting to unlearn things and break the way or the reality that the society and the world has created. So you can start by believing that, I can be this, I can become this, or I believe I'm supposed to be rich. I believe. And you believe all these things about yourself. I believe I should be healthy. I believe my life should be success. I believe I should be joyous. I believe I deserve peace. Belief is still doubt. You're not really sure. But you see, it's okay. Keep believing. You see, you're not sure because you are not that person yet. So most people stop here in belief. And they never allow the thing that they believe to transform. That's the chain of the mind. Because it's difficult for you to see yourself as someone or as a person that you've never been. So you can think that you deserve this, or you can think that this stuff should happen to you or happen to your family. But if you can never get to a place where it's not just belief now, it's not like, I believe this should happen for me. If you cannot get to a place where, I know, why not? Yes, I'm deserving of, I know this, yeah. And you start seeing yourself as your belief. Once you identify with that belief, you start carrying yourself as that. But what happens is most people give up here because they think to themselves, oh man, I'm lying to myself. Oh, this is corny, this is lame. Now why am I believing all these things? But you have to understand, this is where you're trying to rewire your brain. So of course, your brain will look at you or you will feel like an imposter. Your belief, it becomes an aspect that you can really identify with. And once you start seeing yourself and you start carrying yourself, the version of yourself that you want to see, the version of yourself that always go to the gym, you believe that, why I want to be that version of yourself. I'm an athlete, I go to the gym, like this is my identity. They cut their growth short by telling themselves, oh man, this is corny, I'm being fake, or this. But you're changing your mind. You have to understand, you have been programmed. The society has programmed you to see yourself a certain kind of way, to think about life a certain kind of way. They created a reality for you. Why? Because even the people that created the reality for you, they know that the reality is a lie. But they need you to live in that reality because even themselves are trying to escape reality. That's why we can see some people who feel like they are untouchable. And all of a sudden they provoke one person and everything comes crashing down on them. And we say, oh wow, this person did all of this, and we don't even know most of the things are not true. Anyway, I'm just kidding. This is just for educational purposes. So remember this, your power is your mind. Your mind is the only thing that can bring change to your reality. The world wants to take away your mind. So the world fills your mind with bills, and they try to separate you from peace and solace. They try to make you dependent on them, so that you will never be able to just think properly. And then because of the society and the way that people buy into the program, families can't even stay together. You turn 18 and the next thing you want to do is move out of the house. Instead of staying home and building wealth and just staying and being a helping hand as well. See, this is what community is. This is what a village is. As a child, stay home. You're 18, stay home. You don't have to rush and go get your own place. Do you not understand? It's the same circle, because now you have to go look for a work. Now you have to pay bills. You get plugged right back into the system. Why? Because you want your own freedom. But when you really look at it, is that freedom? Is that truly what freedom is? But now you have to start from scratch. And everybody the family grow and everybody goes out. No strong community, no strong bond in the family. See, there is no unity, no village. If a woman gives birth, well, either she has to take off, but there is no community because the 60-year-old mom who's supposed to come and help during childbirth is still working. The 60-year-old dad is still working. You've been programmed to never come to a place, to never use your mind. You've been programmed to always focus on doing You've been programmed to have nothing, to have no depth. They take you away from community, they take you away from village. You have to send your kids off. You don't even raise your kids. And so everybody's exhausted. Everybody lives on caffeine. You wake up in the morning and you feel like, oh, you need a cup of coffee. Your mind can never think. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like you need something, you need an energy boost, you need a caffeine or whatever, that's because your circadian rhythm is out of whack, it's out of flow. The way that our body works is in the morning when you wake up, when the sun begins to rise, you feel energetic. When the sun begins to set, and now you're ready to go to bed. But when you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, you still feel tired, you see, that's because the world is sucking you dry. That's because, you see, at nighttime when you're supposed to go to sleep, that's when all of your cell and everything is supposed to be, rejuvenated. But you wake up still feeling like crap. And you feel like you have to be on something to be able to, you're drugged up. Even the Bible says that God, after he walked, he rested. But you see, you do not have no rest until your body shut down on you. Because you've been told that the only way to make it is by hustling, by grinding, by putting in the work. Like work. But nothing about the work that you're doing here. Nothing about the way that you see yourself. Nothing about the kind of words that you allow people to speak over you. And the word that you speak about yourself. Nothing about the thing that you think about. The things that you watch. The words that you hear from the television. From the channels. From the programming you. No guidance. No, you just take all of these things in. Because you don't understand that life is not just physical. It's not about the things that we are seeing. It's about the mind, it's about energy, it's about your consciousness. How in tune are you with your spirit? You need to be in tune with yourself. I used to do 2 jobs and then I picked up the 3rd shift. But that's because, you see, in my mind, that I believe that was, that's how you make it. You have to hustle. You have to get the job so you make money. And eventually, right? But that's the mindset that I adopted because my belief was that, well, my hands and the actions that I take is what will change my life. And you see, for me, I'm not an advocate for multiple jobs. I don't believe that that's the way that you actually change your life, or at least escape wherever it is that you're trying to escape. And I know life happens. I know people are in different places in their life. Like I said, I did it. I used to have 3 jobs at a time. But that's because I realized that, if you have multiple jobs, your life really is, is pretty much over, or at least it can begin to feel like that. You really stop living. And now you just live to work. And so every day you wake up just with a thought of, oh, one day. But the thing is, one day never comes. How do I know? Because, I've seen so many people, sometimes I see many people, older people, way older than me. Some of them that just have one job, maybe working at a fast food joint or something like that. And, these people are hard worker. You don't change your life just by being a hard worker. See, now that you have the time, if you have the time, you have to apply yourself in the right places. It's only when you become it up here. It's only when you can see it, when you can feel it. It's only when all of those things, when the altering happen here, happen in your mind, you have to give yourself to these things. You have to think about it. You have to think about it. You have to think about it. That's what prayer is. You have to think. You have to think about it. Let your mind, you want to be faithful in everything that you do. Think about it. And I'm going to be real. This can be a process depending on how much disassociation is there between you and your mind. And now I will tell you, I'm not even going to waste your time. This video is not for everyone. It's not a coincidence that you stumble across this video. And my only hope is that you don't watch this video and yet you lack the ability to bring about your desired reality. And you don't even try to apply it.